Tara Korjeski, welcome to the Locals Only podcast.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm happy you're here.
Happy to be here.
It's been in the makings for a little bit now, so I'm glad we're finally doing it. But let's hear all about your latest venture. What do you got going on?
So myself and my two partners, Cozy Margada and Julia Campbell, shout out. We just formed our new company, PARTI. It's kind of an all-encompassing design studio. So we offer full service event design, florals, signage, stationery. We all have backgrounds in interior design, so we can take on some small design jobs and then sprinkle the occasional event photography in there too.
Yeah.
Kind of honing in on, we have a lot of skills as combined three designers. So trying to kind of offer an all-encompassing design studio. I feel like we have a lot of each separate service in the area, but there's not a ton that offer kind of everything. So if you wanted to hire the same company for all,
yeah, like a one-stop
every
shop
service,
kind of.
exactly.
You don't need to go to three different places.
So that's an option, and you can just kind of a la carte pick specific services too.
Right.
If you wanted to go with a different florist or a different signage designer, that would work too. So it's exciting.
Yeah,
We're excited.
That's awesome. So this is is this your first official business, like LLC, whatever?
Yep.
Yeah.
First one. It's a little overwhelming.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
It's so exciting though, like
Yes.
forming it, and like especially because
Yeah.
you guys are in that world, but like the logo,
Exactly.
like all the imagery that people are going to associate with your business.
Yeah, we got
that stuff's fun.
Julia's husband is our in-house attorney, so he filed all the legal paperwork for us to form the business. As soon as we got the paperwork, it was very exciting. But and then we met up with Nicole Piercy. She took some really cool photos of us.
Yeah, we're gonna have to flash them
So we could
up on the
hard
screen.
launch on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was fun. It kind of made it feel like it was really happening.
Yeah.
And now business is starting to roll in, and it's happening.
Yeah, it's neat because you guys like kind of had your own separate followings or like dabbled with what you were kind of doing now before it was like an official business. So like you have an established, I don't want to say clientele, but like an established name in the industry in that regard, where like you're not starting from ground zero, which is I think like a really smart approach to the way you did it. But like how did, I guess like number one, like how long have you guys been officially up now? Like when was the hard launch?
So we hard launched in January. I think the paperwork happened right around there too. We've been discussing it for a while. Cozy has been doing floral design for quite a few years. She's got a good following too. And she did my wedding in July. And after that, we kind of were like, we should just team up. We've been tinkering with the idea for so long. We just have very similar minds. So we were like, we definitely should do this together.
Yeah.
So after the wedding, we kind of started talking about it. We got Julia involved. She's in the industry. And we just went for it.
That's awesome. You guys all still have your normal 9-to-5 day jobs? Do you guys all work together?
So in a roundabout way, yes. I work as an interior designer at an architecture firm, BDA Architects. It's in Clark Summit. And then Julia and Cozy both work as project managers at Geisinger.
Oh, okay.
So as a firm, BDA does almost probably 90% healthcare work. So most jobs that are with Geisinger, they are on with me
that's cool.
in some way.
Yeah.
So yes and no.
Yeah. That's neat though, just because like, obviously like you know them on like a personal level, but sometimes like people start businesses with other people and you only know how they operate on a personal level. And you don't get to see like their day to day, like how organized are they? How well do they communicate? Like all the things that could potentially be the downfall of a partnership. So it's nice that you guys got to vet that out in each other first. And then like, I guess, how did you guys decide like that it was you three? Like what, I guess, attracted you to each other?
I think just we work together pretty regularly and all have, I feel like I keep saying similar minds, but you kind of know when you click with somebody.
Yeah,
and the three of us click personally and professionally.
Yeah.
So when we were, Cozy and I mentioned the idea, Julia was like, I want in. Like, that sounds great.
Yeah.
And then the more we talked about it, the three of us just made perfect sense. We all kind of fall into like a category that we excel in.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of works out perfectly.
Right. Kind of complement each other
Exactly.
in different ways.
Yep.
And round, like to your point, like how you could become that like one-stop shop
Yes.
for all that stuff. So,
and we all are from, Cozy's from the Lakeland area. I'm from the Valley View area, and Julia's from Clark Summit. So we kind of have like a wider range
mm-hmm.
with the three of us merging, with kind of who we can connect to, which is great.
Yeah. Yeah. That's huge. So Hard Launch was in January. Has it just been booming since then? Yeah.
Your bride was one of our first clients for her bridal shower. Shout out Krista. And Christina. She actually hired us. But yeah, it's been rolling. We've got quite a few weddings and events, spring, summer,
lined
late
up
into fall.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah.
It's a little overwhelming when it first started.
Yeah.
But that's where we want it to go. So
right. Yeah. You find the balance
complaining.
quick and figure out what you could take on versus
exactly.
It's still juggling the day job.
Yeah.
Do you have any plans of like potentially, maybe not all of you at once, or like, do you guys have any like grand plans of where you want to take the business in the future?
So our end goal is to buy a space.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing huge. We don't know what that looks like yet. We're hoping we come across the right thing at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
We're always looking and listening.
Yeah.
But then we would be able to, I'm sure we would still take events outside of our own space, but then we can kind of tailor to doing event design in our own space,
mm-hmm.
Offering that space for rental if you wanted as a photographer to use it as a studio, if you had a paint and sip class you wanted to host,
mm-hmm.
like that kind of thing. Just kind of an open studio space that anyone can use.
Just versatile. Yeah.
Something versatile that has storage that we can offer whatever you need.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think there's a huge gap in the market for that right now. Like even when you first brought it up to me and like kind of said like we're doing it, because you've mentioned it a couple times, like just amongst our friends group, and once you like kind of I got like the general gist of where you're going. I'm like, you guys are gonna crush it. Like because I know all you got. Well, I know you and Cozy, and like I know how good you guys are at what you do individually. So like as a team, I figured.
Yeah, thanks.
Plus the gap in the market. I'm excited to see what you guys do with it for sure.
I hope so. If anyone out there has a really cool space they're looking to get rid of, hit us up for sure.
Hit it up. And if you have any events or you're looking for anything, what's the website?
PARTI with us.
Nice.
Cool. Follow us on Instagram.
Yeah, we're gonna have to check it out. But yeah, so I guess how much did your day job influence that, or do you think it was like a separate niche thing that like it was like a hobby / interest that you had? Like, is there a ton of overlap in terms of what you're doing on a day-to-day job outside of meeting and working with them?
In a way, I feel like some of the skills I learned at the day job have definitely helped me in this side of things, but not directly does it overlap. I think I learned and focused a lot of my skills in managing projects and timelines, that kind of thing at work, and how to use Photoshop and InDesign and all of the programs that we use to kind of make the products that we design with. So in a way, I think they overlap, but not, I would say what I do day to day at work is certainly much different than,
it's
than
like
what we do at PARTI.
More like some of the soft skills than like the true like day-to-day work itself. Yeah.
Presenting to a client, like all those things that I do at work definitely have helped me.
Yeah. So like, let's rewind, I don't know, 8 years, say. How long have you been out of school? What year did you graduate?
2018.
From where?
From Syracuse.
Syracuse, right. What was that? So you went to, did you know what you wanted to do out of high school?
Yeah. So I always kind of wanted to do something in design. Mm-hmm. I don't know why I had this crazy idea that it wasn't feasible, like that there weren't real jobs. But when I was a junior, I went to RIT for like an overnight stay, and you could kind of take like little classes, and they kind of showed you what all the majors were about. And they had an interior design one. And there were like some projections for jobs. And I was like, oh, I could really actually do this.
Yeah.
So I left there knowing for sure I did not want to go to RIT, but also knowing I definitely wanted to pursue something in interior design, which led me to Syracuse. I kind of applied all over the place, but I fell in love with it. Of course, it was the last school I heard from.
Really?
So I was sweating a little bit about it,
Yeah.
but it was an amazing experience and definitely got a great education too.
Yeah. So when you just did like a campus visit or something, you're like, all right, this is the one for me. And like
felt
just on pins
like
and needles waiting
what I
to
thought
hear.
what college would feel like when I stepped onto the campus. And it's obviously a big school, big sports school, but they had good education also, which was kind of the point. So
Wrangler. I don't think you're supposed to. Come on.
Hi, buddy.
Wrangler, come on. Hey. Yeah, but anyway, so jumping back into Syracuse, so like that was your spot. You loved your time there, and then like how did you? I'm trying to think. Like, did you have a job lined up? Like, did you do like an internship or anything? Like, how did that all work out?
Random sidebar, but the year after my sophomore year at Syracuse, I applied for an internship at PennDOT. This is unrelated to interior design, but
I think I remember
a couple of my
this
friends
slightly.
had internships there, and it was like in the Dunmore office. They were like filing papers, but it paid really well, and I was like, "This is great. I'd love to like make some good money over the summer."
Yeah.
So they call me and they're like, "Yeah, we have an open position for you." I get there for the interview, and they're like, "It's roadside," but I was like, it was mid-May, a summer was already started and I had no job, so I was like, okay, I guess I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So I was a PennDOT flagger.
Were you?
Yep.
That's hilarious.
In Clark Summit,
Working on your tan every day out there, just
in an XXL vest and assless chaps. I've got some hilarious photos I'll have to show you.
That's hilarious. Yeah, we're gonna need those for sure.
Then the following summer I had applied locally, architecture firms, hoping I could find an internship, and I landed at BDA.
Nice.
Loved it. I learned probably more there in one summer than I did in most of my schooling.
Yep.
And then when I went back for senior year, they called me in the spring and offered me a position, which was great. So I accepted before I even graduated.
Oh, that's
Been
awesome.
there ever since.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a great place to work. I can't see myself leaving there while I'm working this kind of job.
Right. That's what I was wondering. I was like, if you were to rewind like 7 years, 6 years, whatever it is, like when you're in, like, did you have, cause I always wonder this, like, is entrepreneurship or the desire to own your own business, like, is that something that's like kind of woven into people, or is it something that like you stumble across where it's just like you and I both, like we do photography, and it's just like you start doing this stuff on the side and it's like, oh, like this is like liberating in a way. And like neither one of us were doing it full time or anything, but did it start opening doors in your mind, or was it something that you always had in the back of your mind?
So I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit, definitely. I don't know that it was on purpose, but I feel like I always seem to take some sort of like hobby of mine and try to make it into a side hustle.
Could relate.
Which is a blessing and a curse.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you know that. But in college, I had a couple like little side businesses. My freshman year, my roommate Olivia and I started an Etsy shop where we would cut vinyl and put it on like shot glasses and wine glasses and things like that, and marketed to like sororities when they had like Big Littles and things like that. Mm-hmm. We made a good amount of money doing it out of our freshman dorm, until it just we were both like kind of over it and we stopped doing it. That was definitely not my passion, but I started there. Then a couple summers later, I lived in Newport, Rhode Island for the summer, and I would collect the little like beach stones, and I started drilling holes in them and making them into chokers. That was like when chokers were back. Yeah. So I had that little side hustle for a while.
I didn't know those two things.
Yeah, they were short-lived. I think I was trying to find like what I wanted to do, but I think I always knew I wanted to do something. Yeah. And then photography kind of happened by accident.
Yeah, I was going to say, how'd that all happen?
I've always loved to take photos. I've had cameras my whole life, but once I finished my internship at BDA, I had saved my money all summer. So I was like, I'm going to buy a nice camera just for fun. I had like no real reason. And then when I came home after graduating, my sister's friends started to all have babies. Caitlin, Osant, and Cora. They were pretty much my first subjects. I would just take pictures of her for fun. And the more I would take them, the more somehow someone else saw that I took one, and it kind of just went from there. Like truly, I didn't mean for it to happen that way, but it took off, and I'm really happy it did. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like you found your niche in the photography market as well. Like where, not to say like you're limited in skill, like in that regard, but like you just kind of were photographing what you enjoyed, and then like the business came as a result, which is, I feel like the way like the best businesses happen. Like you fill that need in the market with something that you would love to do, whether you're getting paid or not.
I was doing it for fun at first, and then it just kind of,
it just bleeds through. Like it's like, I remember when you first started like, cause obviously like on Instagram, like you could tell when it's taken with a better camera, and like, this is rewinding, I don't know how I remember, like 6, 7, whatever, however many years. And it's like, oh damn, like those pictures are legit. And then like you were just posting them like casually, like you didn't have a separate page, you didn't have anything, like you weren't trying to like book now. It was just like, oh damn. So like it does, I think like people gravitate towards people's passions too, more so than when like you're trying to be selly or like book or whatever. And obviously at some point it has to turn to that, but I feel like that organic start is always like refreshing to see.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's cool. Photography is so fun. I feel like it's just like so many other things, it opens up so many doors, and like you get to meet so many people, and like these little especially where we live, like you just have all these little connections, and it might not be for 5 years, but then it's like, oh, the person that I did pictures for their family for are all now, you know, like doing either their oldest daughter's getting married and now they're doing a wedding with you. It's like crazy. And it's just like, if you didn't put in that work up front and like that, and you just, you know, we're sitting on the couch or hanging with your friends, like, you know, like instead of pursuing your passion, like your circle stays smaller, and like you don't get to explore that a whole different life potentially. It's neat to see how everything kind of ties together.
You meet so many people, and it's kind of cool. Like they're trusting you. Like I take so many newborns and family photos. Like they're trusting you with this like little time in their life that those kids will never be that size. It's fun. Even I have like a few repeat clients that when I look back at some of the old ones, I'm like, how are they that old?
I know. It makes us feel old. It's like
I might feel like a part of it somehow.
Yeah. And you kind of do become that too. Like, especially when it's like first kid, second kid, and then it's like newborn, first birthday, kindergarten. And then it's just like, it just snowballs so fast. And it's like, you truly do become like Amber has, she's a good friend of Krista and I's, but like also like she's done like all of our like big moments,
your big moments,
and
your
like
engagement.
She's like, and like you become a part of that. Like when you're at the wedding, like you spend a lot of time with the photographer and like stuff like that. So it's cool. It's neat to feel that dynamic.
Yeah, for sure. Even like the weddings I've second shot with you. I mean, we've done a few, but the last two were the Fiorillo family. And I feel like every time I see them, like I'm so excited to see them, and they all know me, even though I was just your assistant that day. It's really neat.
It's not just like it's not just a picture that they have like in their backlog. Like they remember that it was us and whatever. And it's like when they post, like the Fiorillos are a good example. Like they're a very close family, and there's a bunch of siblings. So like on sibling day, like they all just posted like different pictures from the wedding that we took. And like, it's cool. Like they might, maybe not, they're not thinking of us while they post it, but like if the question ever came up, like they would at least remember. And you get a different bond with them in a cool way. Sometimes I'm like, I go through like peaks and valleys. Like I don't feel like I would be as good at what you do. Like I'm not as good with kids and stuff, which is like credit to you. Like you said, like you found your niche, and that's something you're really good at. Like I love photographing things that don't talk, like landscapes, and like even the cars.
Like if you asked me to do that, I would struggle. So it's interesting that everyone finds their little niche that they fall into. Yeah. Cause
like I would rather manipulate myself to the environment than like try and get somebody to work with me. Cause like sometimes I'm just not good like getting across my vision. Like I can't verbalize it. I have it in my head, and then like I'll get like frustrated and like everything. Where like you have to have a lot of patience to photograph kids and families and stuff. I do a lot of
Pika.
Yeah. You learn the
like
tricks.
When I do mini sessions, by the end of the day, I'm like, if I never hear myself say peekaboo again, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun, but it is, and it's dependent on the day and dependent on the child's mood, how easy or hard it is. So
yeah, and like they could love you, but like like you were saying, like they know you, like the kid could know you. You could have a great relationship with the family, and like the kid like usually is out, like gets excited to see you. And that day, if they didn't get their nap, like those pictures are just gonna be brutal.
Yeah. And that's kind of also the upside to photographing kids is even when they're mad, they're cute.
Yeah.
So
and like funny pictures to look back on. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, my childhood, there was a photo of me pouting because I did not want to get my photo taken, and my mom had it hung up on the wall, and I hated it. So whenever I take them like that, I'm like, this poor kid's gonna hate me. Yeah,
down the road, it's gonna surface at like their graduation party and stuff like that. It'll be blown up.
Yeah, once I have I guess when Cora Osant is graduating high school, then I'll officially feel like old. I've made it a full cycle.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. I know. I forget what. Oh, we were just talking about it yesterday. Like a couple of guys were golfing, and how so like at Valley View, as you know, they have like the childcare program.
Yep.
And like I didn't partake, but my buddies who I was golfing with were saying how like the kids that they had in childcare are now like juniors in college.
That's crazy.
And it's like, Jesus, man, like nothing makes you feel older when like
Zach's childcare student, the mom of the boy sent him a photo like a few years ago saying like so and so graduated today. It was a picture of him with the child in the program. Oh my God, it's insane. And I was like, that is great. I never took that either, and I don't know why. I know that was a big miss on my part because I would have loved that.
Yeah, I feel like that's up your alley.
Yeah, I have no idea why I didn't.
I never did either. I
just loved art in high school. I feel like if I could pick anything, I would pick art.
Yeah, you definitely have the creative touch for sure.
Yeah.
The artistic flair.
I get that from my mom.
Yeah.
Shout out Karen.
She's got it.
Yeah. She's
doesn't
creative.
Where am I? Did she have something? I feel like I saw something. Like does she paint?
She probably could paint, but she knits a lot.
Oh, what the hell am I thinking of?
I don't know. She's like has a way with words too. She reads a lot.
Oh, really?
So a lot of times if we need like a catchy slogan on a signage on a seating chart or something, I'm calling her. I'm like, she's
your gal.
Help. This is the theme, and this is what we need.
Get mom involved a little bit.
Yeah. She's hired for sure once we have a space.
So I guess like circling back to the business and everything, like how important is it to you? Do you think it is that all of you guys still have 9 to 5s, that like you're not necessarily rushing into this business? Because it's twofold, right? Sometimes like you when you hear like these very successful entrepreneurs, it's like burn the boats, never look back. Like when there's no plan B, you're going to make it work and it'll go to heights that you can't imagine. But there's also something to be said for not necessarily relying on it for like all of your income or supporting your life just yet, and growing at like a slower pace, but doing it the right way. How do you feel about that balance?
I think it takes the pressure away the way we're doing it. Mm-hmm. We can build it slowly in the right way without feeling like, I feel like when it becomes your lifeline, like that's what's funding your bank account and paying your bills. It's not that we shouldn't take it as serious now, but it kind of allows us to have more fun with it, I think. Mm-hmm. And it's right now we're just focusing on building business. We're not worried about getting paid. I feel like when you're a small business starting up, you kind of have to take the first few years and just build it up,
Yeah, just bootstrap it.
Exactly.
Like most of the money you make, just
we're just putting it right back into the business, trying to.
Especially when you're trying to get a space. It's nice that you have a plan too, like where it's like you're collectively saving towards something. It's not just saving and dumping it back into marketing dollars or anything like that. It's like for one very big specific goal.
So we're just trying to save it and build inventory, all that kind of thing. But I definitely think we just have a little more fun. There's not as much pressure with us still having our jobs. That being said, I think it could get to a point where we're a little overwhelmed, all of us. But I can't see any of us leaving our 9 to 5, and maybe if we had a space.
Right.
But I think before then, probably not.
Yeah, that makes sense. I actually stumbled across, and I jotted it down so I didn't forget it. Like I stumbled across this quote from Rick Rubin right before we were firing up, and he said, "Don't let following your dreams undermine your ability to support yourself. It could actually end up doing the opposite." And I thought that was just so well said, because it's like he gave the example after that quote where it's like, if you're trying to become a comedian and you go all in on being a comedian, but you're stressed about also supporting yourself and paying the bills, it's going to affect your comedy in a negative way.
Yep.
Because you're going to lose your sense of humor because you're stressed about the other things in life, where it's like, if you could just keep your head above water, or even like just doing well in your 9 to 5, it will only make your future endeavor that much better. And I thought it was a really interesting quote.
Well said.
He's an interesting dude. Have you ever listened to anything from him? So he's like become this like, so he's a music producer that like just has, he admittedly says he has like no musical talent. He just has a very good ear. I don't think that's true.
Okay.
I think he's humble when he says that kind of stuff, but he's like this like guru now on the internet with like words of wisdom like that. And just, he's interesting. He's an interesting listen. Oh, I know I was going to ask you before. It just,
about my mom.
Yeah. So you said she has a really good way with words. Because like part of it is because she's a reader. Are you a reader?
I enjoy reading. I don't read often.
Yeah.
I wish I read more.
Mm-hmm. I'm the same way.
I've read maybe 2-3 books in the last like year.
Yeah.
Which is good, but it could be better.
Yeah.
Like I think my mom is on book like 32 of the year already.
Really?
Yeah. She's
just crushing them.
Yeah. I'm like, I wish I could be that way, but she's always been like that. And I think it would have kicked in by now.
I know. It's friggin' social media.
Yeah. I just love to rewatch the same television shows over and over. It's a disease. But
what's your show?
I have so many, but they're not good. I just rewatch the same.
You know they're not good, but it's
if
just
Zach were here, he would roll his eyes so hard right now.
Zach rolling his eyes?
Yeah, I know.
No
Him
way.
having an opinion about something. What? Gilmore Girls, One Tree Hill, Grey's Anatomy, Desperate Housewives.
All that stuff.
On a loop.
Nice. I'm sure Zach enjoys that.
I'll watch good shows too, but usually Zach has to suggest it and we sit and watch it together. But we're big into the challenge, MTV's challenge.
Oh yeah.
We watch that.
Krista likes that a lot.
Regularly. That's like one show that him and I always will sit down weekly and watch together.
Yeah, that's a good show. I never got super into it, but Krista likes it, and every time she had it on, I could see myself getting into it. I just never committed. It's definitely good. Who's the guy that's like
TJ Lavin? The guy that hosts it? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Johnny Bananas?
Who's the guy that's been in forever?
Johnny Bananas?
No. I think he has initial. Is it CJ? CT.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah. There's a bunch that have been around forever. It's crazy. Like that just became their career. Like didn't they just do like what was
they
it?
all
Like Road
came
Rules or
from
whatever?
Road
Like
Rules,
that kind
but
of
they
shit?
all come from some reality show.
Yeah.
So like Are You the One? Real World.
Yeah.
It varies, but I didn't watch it from the beginning. Zach's always pretty much watched it, so he knows like all of them. But sometimes we'll go back and watch like an old season just so
it's a cool way to make a career. It's like you go on this television show that for it's like a 3-month stint, and then now it's like
I wish they had like
later.
a challenge, like theme park or something where you could go and like try the things they do.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I want to know if I could do it.
That's a good idea.
I don't think I could do a lot of them, but I'd like to think I could. Maybe.
I know. Like I always thought about that too. Like some of the just like one-on-one challenges too. It's like it would be fun to do it with your friends. Like just like it's almost like a football drill. It's a stupid drill, like example I'm giving here. But like when you're in the circle and like somebody has to win with the tire, like just stuff like that. It's like, and like a lot of the other stuff is way more exciting and cool. But I'm like, it would be interesting to see how you fare.
I know. Maybe you can tell Cody to try a challenge party.
That's where my head
just like
just
Survivor.
went.
A lot of them are from Survivor, so I'm sure a lot of them are similar. I don't watch Survivor, but
I don't either actually. But Cody's challenges, and I talked about it with him when he was on here. Like it's insane how much work and effort like he puts into it.
I can't even imagine.
And so Moose is very into Survivor, and he I said for the longest time. So Moose did it with me one time. And I said for the longest time, like, it would be so fun to do it with our friends. Like, pay Cody, set it up, and like have all the guys and girls. Like Mayday's coming up, fun. Like not at Mayday, but like get like that crowd and just go all, because it's like a 6-hour affair.
Yeah,
and it's intense. Like, it's so fun.
Really fun.
It's like good bonding, like good like manipulation, and like people get pissed. Like I could see like our friends getting mad.
Is it solo or are you on teams at some point?
You end up on teams.
Okay.
I think I actually forget how it works. The people who watch Survivor are gonna be so pissed.
I know.
So I think you're on a team in the beginning. Like, it's very broad. It's like just blue versus red or something like that. And then you get like slowly narrowed down, and then it becomes individualized. So like that's where like you need to be strategic about who you teamed up with at one point, and like how you're working together and like managing. Yeah, like you can't be too good, because like people will vote. It's interesting. Like I wasn't good at the manipulation portion of it all. Like the not personality, but like, I don't know, you like navigating those waters of like everybody's, like how everybody's feeling, because I don't watch Survivor, where like I feel like the people who do obviously have a little bit of an advantage, but it would be fun regardless. Just doing the challenges would be fun.
Yeah, we should try to get that on the books at some point. That would be very fun.
That would be
maybe
be
next
awesome.
summer.
Maybe if you guys get like, you know, if it's 6 years from now and you guys don't land the quite the space you're looking for, and you end up having to buy something like way larger than you want, you could just divvy up like 1/8 of it, and we'll just put a challenge room in the back.
Perfect.
That would be fun. That would be
awesome.
So I guess in terms of, obviously, like the business is it's new, and you guys are growing like exponentially, but you know, still lots of growth ahead of you. But like, what would you say would be like the biggest piece of advice you would give yourself even like 4 years ago, when you're just like kicking around the idea, or like you have an idea in your head but you don't know what steps, just like practical help for like somebody who is maybe 26 and is in your shoes like a few years ago, whatever?
I would say find like-minded friends and just start talking about it. If I didn't mention it to Cozy, I think it would have taken me a whole lot longer to make a jump on this kind of thing. And the more we talked about it, the more she knew someone who's an accountant, and Julia's like, my husband can form the paperwork for, you know what I mean? Like I didn't know how to do any of that. So the more you talk about it to people who want to help you, the easier it becomes, for sure. It's a little overwhelming. There's a lot to know. I still don't know half of it, but I would say just keep talking about it to people you trust, and people who would definitely help you and support you. Yeah.
I think that's really good advice, just because, especially like when you have other jobs, like it's just very easy for a lot of people to feel like you don't want to talk about business or other things like on the weekends or with friends. And like some people just have no interest at all. It's like they just want to work a 9-to-5 job. And like that's completely fine. Like it's secure, it's stable. And like if you don't have ambitions beyond that, like all good. But like there are other people, more people than you think, that are open to those ideas. And you like you said, like you do just start attracting those minds that you need to like get a thing going. So I think that's really, really sound advice.
Sometimes I wish I was content with just my 9-to-5.
I know.
On those long weeks, I'm like, why am I like this?
I know.
But at the end of the day, it's who I am.
Yeah.
I can't change.
Yeah.
I think even if you took it all away from me, I'd get right back to it.
Yeah. And like you're going to scratch that itch one way or the other. You're going to occupy that time. That's what I've come to notice as well. I feel like we're the same in that regard.
Definitely.
That's what I struggle, honestly. Like at times, like they always say, like if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Yep.
And like I have a really hard time. That's why like I was really excited to talk to you, because like we've talked casually about the business a little bit and stuff, just because like it is interesting and I enjoy these type of conversations, obviously. But I have a really hard time trusting other people in terms of like business, and like just because it's like it's my baby, and like but like there's so many times where I'm like, if I had help right now, like I could be doing so much more with local while I'm still doing my 9-to-5 and stuff like that. And I was curious to get like your take on, you kind of always already talked about like you got to see how they work and stuff. So that really helps. I feel like I didn't know that. So like that was really interesting to hear. How does the photography piece that's like kind of out on its own right now, does that get woven into the business, or would that be like independent from everything you're doing with your partners?
I think it will be more woven once we have a space.
Mm-hmm.
We are taking events only. Like if you had a bridal shower or baby shower and you wanted photos, that would fall under our PARTI umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
If it's event related, we're kind of focusing on that right now. And then like we did our Mother's Day minis. We collaborated with the Everhart Museum and Malteses.
Oh, nice. It's awesome.
Just trying to like get wherever we can, whatever local business will work with us. We're trying to kind of get our name out there.
Yeah.
And they've been great to work with. So those kinds of things where we can kind of turn it into an event
mm-hmm.
will currently be under that umbrella. But for now, family, baby photography, that kind of thing is still just me on my side.
Nice.
I think once we have a space and I can use it there,
right, then
it will become part of it.
Yeah, that makes
sense. Or
sense.
maybe at that point, if we have a space, maybe I have to pull back a little on the family photography. We'll
right, and
see
focus
where
on.
Yeah.
It's cool to see like how many different ways you could go with the business, like because like you are operating now, like you could be completely mobile, or you could have this like dedicated space like that. Not necessarily becomes a wedding event, but like,
sure.
Yeah, like you could, it's neat to
There's something nice about no overhead.
Yeah.
That part is really nice. Yeah. But a space would be so helpful for especially storage. We kind of are all storing our things right now. We've got a lot of stuff between vases and candles and.
Yeah, I can imagine. There's probably so much.
There's a lot of stuff. So
you just don't think about. Yeah.
I think at some point soon we're going to have to at least look into storage.
Right, like a storage unit or something.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool though.
It's a good problem to have. It means it's working.
Yeah. And how much of the, maybe it wasn't even intentional either, but like the possibility of having an event space. So like I'm getting in the weeds now of your business, and I hope you don't mind me asking, but like, so obviously getting a space when you're essentially bootstrapping a business, like it becomes a lot more possible when you're with 3 people versus even 2 or 1. Like Definitely. How much does that weigh into it, where it's just like, hey, like we all have this common goal, we might as well do it together, versus like it might take 10 years if I do it on my own.
Exactly.
Like,
that part is helpful. And we even have some other industry friends who have expressed interest in investing in us if we can find the right place. It feels good to have each other, but also sounds like maybe we can have some additional support from others too. It's just, like I said before, it's just so much less overwhelming when you have other people to lean on.
Yeah.
We're all going through it and we're all committed to it. So.
Yeah. It's probably super reassuring too, where it's just like all the feedback you're getting from like a business perspective, not even clients. Yeah. Where it's just like, oh, that's a good idea. Like when like that's all you hear, it's like, okay, like we're on the right path. Yep. Like
I've been through it, friends, family. There are spaces obviously, but it's sometimes hard to find a space that you just want to rent the space. Like for example, if you wanted to have your child's 4th birthday party, where do you have it around here?
Right.
The YMCA, the Civic Center.
Right.
Unless it's like really themed and they want like at the trampoline park, that kind of thing. But there's not really just like you can open a space, get some pizza canvas, and let the kids run around.
Right.
It would be cool to have that where if they hired us, then we can, if you want paint at the party, we could get, you know what I mean? Like we can tailor it to whatever people need and
take care of their
that
needs.
Could be kids, adults, anything.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel like there is a little bit of a hole in that market for sure.
It is such a good idea. Just because like we are getting to that age now where like I'm not necessarily there, but like my sister and like a lot of our friends are like having kids or have kids, and that like you hear it constantly. So yeah, I think you got, like I said, you're going to crush, but that's like an interesting thing too, where it's like you kind of, how you were saying earlier, like how you turn a lot of hobbies into businesses, and like I do feel like, and you hear it a lot where like people go through like 4 or 5 businesses or just like money making ideas, if you will, because like a lot of them like weren't technical businesses for each of us, until you truly find the one that's like probably going to be the one to support you at some point or at some capacity. Because like for me, like at first it was like I want to start woodworking, and I've talked about this in the past with other guests, where it's like at first it was just like I'm at a computer all day, like I want to be useful in a different way. Like I grew up in a blue collar household, and like I want to know how to like work with tools well, and like obviously like, my dad showed me stuff growing up and everything like that, but I didn't feel like I could go out and like build something completely on my own. So like I'm like, hey, like show me what you know. And like he knew like construction level building, which is different than like finished carpentry or like making a table or anything. So I started that, right?
Yep.
And like you, it started as a hobby, and then it's like, oh, all right, maybe I'll start selling like cornhole boards on the side or little coffee tables or this or that. And then like you just have this come to Jesus moment where it's like, hey, I enjoy this. It was cool, but like I don't see the path forward for me. Yeah. And then like you stumble into the next business where like for me it's local, where it's like I started selling t-shirts for the woodworking business. Then I'm like, oh, like this could be something I could actually do with my 9 to 5, because it's a little less time than so it's like it's cool to see the evolution that everybody goes through, like, but it all does feed, even if it's way different industries.
It somehow feeds that end one.
Yeah, there's always that like that flow into the end goal.
I have that.
I like seeing
OG
that story.
Against the grain local shirt.
Oh yeah,
Zach and I both have them.
Yeah. I know I see Zach wear it every once in a while. The blue and green. Yeah. That was they were good ones. I might have to recycle that design just for old time's sake now.
A little anniversary one maybe.
Yeah, it's been long enough. I might.
When did you start that?
The woodworking was probably, local's been like coming up on I think 7 years, so
that's
probably
crazy.
Probably close to 10.
Yeah.
Which is like wild. Like
it's crazy.
Not that I was doing anything spectacular.
I don't feel like it was 10 years ago though.
I know, it's crazy.
That's really crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, I love hearing people's stories, like how they end up where they end up, and like, and that's the thing where like even the thing you were doing in college, like it's not a failure. It's not a failed business. Sure. It just fizzles out. Yeah. Where like especially when you're not counting on it for as like your main source of income, like I truly don't like view any of those things that you and I or other people have done as failures. No, never. They're genuinely just like stepping stones, like not to be cliche. Yeah. They actually are. It's not like you win or you learn. Like that's BS sometimes, and then sometimes it is really true. Like I could have continued that, and you could have continued that. And if you wanted to scale your vinyl shot glasses up to the point where like you were never touching vinyl again, and you had 6 employees doing it for you, and you market it towards sororities, you probably could have, but it wasn't where your passion lied. But it still kind of is there somehow. Like we're still putting vinyl on seating chart. You know what I mean? Just nicer things. Somehow it ended up that we're still doing that. But it is. It's interesting. Yeah, and I think you're right. They always connect somehow. Yeah. So talking about how, like your previous ventures and businesses and like side hustles kind of feed, your like big grand plan. Like how much, I guess like what exactly do you do at BDA? So as a designer there, we do mostly healthcare work. So not every project is the same. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they're small equipment replacements in a hospital. Sometimes they're new construction, full cancer centers. It truly depends on the project, what I'm doing. But it's anything from space planning to, finish selection. We do a lot of millwork elevations, so any of the reception desks, exam casework, the cabinetry in every room, like we draw every single detail of every single room. That's neat. So it's we get down to like very small details. It's cool. I do a lot of like our renderings, so depending on the project, it's either a still image, sometimes we do panoramas or like 3D video walkthroughs. That part's really fun. I like doing that. Yeah. That's like, I feel like the younger side of our firm gets to do a lot of that because we learned it the most recently in school. Right. Just the latest, greatest technology, so like cool taking advantage of all the new stuff available. Yeah, very cool. I also recently have been taking project photos when the project's complete. Oh, really? Not just me. There's a couple of us, but
that's been kind of fun. I'm like learning a whole new side of photography.
Yeah.
I do a lot of YouTube.
Yeah.
Trying to figure
You
out.
learn a lot on there.
Yeah, it's crazy how different
Oh yeah.
it is than, even though I'm working with my camera 3 times a week minimum. And
that's nuts. So what do you are you doing like are you like more on a tripod then and stuff like that?
I don't bring lights yet, but I feel like I'm getting to the point where I think we should.
Yeah.
But the kind of bracketing exposures and I'm learning a lot of new
Pretty soon you'll
tricks.
be doing real estate photography.
Yeah. I don't know that I want to get into that, Mark. But I have appreciation for good real estate photos for sure. Now that when I see something's listed, I'm like, that they did it the right way.
There's a lot more work that goes into it than people think, for sure.
Yep.
Just like everything. Like I feel like even like amongst our friends, like we always joked about like doing the PowerPoint presentation about like what do you actually do for a living? Because like you spend so much time with all these people and you generally have no idea what people are working on.
I'm going to be honest. Zach, my husband, has shown me what he does, and I still I would value a presentation from him on what he does at work, because he explained it, but it doesn't quite make sense to me. And
I feel like it would give like, especially like your spouse, like you get a whole different level of appreciation for like, damn, like that, like, you know, by 5 o'clock, like I get it. Like if you got to go blow some steam off doing whatever, like playing basketball or whatever you want to do. And vice versa. Like everybody's jobs has different, every job has 20% shitty stuff that like nobody wants to do.
Sure.
And nobody knows what that like 20% is, even if you have a general understanding of what people do. But I feel like we got to do the PowerPoint presentation one day.
Yeah, Zach will walk into my office some days when we're both working. Well, he always works from home, but when I work from home, and he'll just shake his head and be like, it is insane how different our jobs are.
Yeah.
I have like full hospital floor plans up, and I'm like zooming in and out, and he's got Excel and all these things but if you asked me to do an Excel spreadsheet, I would struggle. Like that's just not something I have to do.
Yeah.
So
whole
it's interesting.
Wheelhouses.
Everybody's got their own set of skills.
Yeah. Zach's quite the chef in the house, huh?
I'm so spoiled.
Yeah, you are spoiled.
Yeah.
I see some of the Instagram stories. I'm like, damn.
I know. I cook every Monday when you guys play basketball.
I know, we talk
call
about
it Terry Monday.
I ask him I'll say probably every third Monday. I'll say, Zach, what's for dinner tonight? And he's like, Tara's cooking. I'm like, I know.
He doesn't usually ask me. I usually go on the way home from work. I'm like he's so good about planning out every meal. He'll put every ingredient in the Wegmans app and go get everything at once. And I am like Monday
swinging it.
4:30 before I leave work, looking online, what can I make for dinner tonight? Stop at the store on the way home. So he doesn't actually usually know what I'm making, but I'm getting better. He's definitely rubbed off on me a little bit. I just don't enjoy it the way he does.
Yeah.
He just loves it, and I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, that's a nice I always wondered like if you married somebody who was like a masseuse, like how nice that would be. And like obviously you would feel bad asking them after they did it all day, but like, damn, that would be awesome. Or a chef.
But maybe if they love it, you don't even have to ask.
Right.
And
they're just happy to do it for you. Yeah.
Yeah. I almost never have to ask Zach if like I will offer to cook, but he just likes to do it, and he's so good at it.
Yeah.
I try and be a sous chef as much as I can.
Yeah. You got to help out.
I used to be better at it though.
He is good though. I'll give him some props there. He's a good cook.
Yeah. He watches a lot of cooking on TV.
So, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Food Network and all that stuff.
Or like YouTube. Like he's got a lot of chefs that he likes to watch.
There are so many better guys on YouTube and stuff now. It's interesting.
I wish I loved something to like watch it all the time.
Yeah.
I just don't.
He turned us on to Chris and I. He turned us on to. I actually still don't know how to say it properly, but the gochujang pasta.
Gochujang pasta.
Yeah.
Chris and I's favorite.
Yeah. She asks for it like once a week now, and she makes it for the first 4 times. I'm like. So Zach made it, and I'm like, I need the recipe. So he DM'd it to me or whatever, and it's so easy to make.
So easy.
And it's literally like incredible. I know, it's so good.
And one of them's noodles.
Yeah. It's so easy and it's so good.
We just had it last week. I request it quite often.
Yeah.
I have like 4 meals that I request what do you want to have for dinner this week? And it's the same few meals. And
what are the 4? We got to hear them. Or like
gochujang pasta. It's
his specialties.
A top contender. Sausage pasta. We have that a lot. It's like rigatoni with sausage and mushrooms and peas. It's delicious. Salmon bowls. I'm always requesting salmon bowls. It's an easy one. That one we got from Adam and Krista. Krista also requests that a lot.
Oh yeah.
The boys don't love that we want that all the time.
They get sick of the same stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. He's got a lot, like things that he doesn't make a ton that are more work. Like he makes a really good Nashville hot chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
I love a smash burger, but I think I need to buy him what's that flat top grill?
Blackstone.
I think we need to get a Blackstone
Yeah.
because there's too messy. He's
Yeah.
like, I will not make those in our house anymore.
It makes life a lot easier, I'm sure. I've been kicking around the idea myself.
I know. I think I want to get one.
Yeah, they would be nice to have, even for like breakfast stuff. Like if you have people over or whatever. Like,
you've got a good backyard setup. We don't really have like a great. Kind of have to go downstairs no matter which way you go to be able to do that. So it's not the most convenient. But.
Yeah. So, speaking of Adam, so while you have PARTI starting up, Adam, I kind of jumped in on it, admittedly, but Adam, Zach, and I have full plans of opening a bagel shop.
We're here we could design the space for you.
Yeah, let's go.
We can make your signs.
Yeah, it would be awesome.
Florals for your opening day. There's a lack in that market too. We've got a lot of good. I'm not negating that we've got good breakfast food around us, but we don't have that like quick bacon, egg, and cheese on a Saturday and Sunday morning kind of place, like a bodega.
Yeah. It would be awesome. Chris and I were just talking about it today. I'm like, I would love to do it. I think I like it more in theory than in practice. Yeah. Well, I don't think I would love the hours.
Get up and work.
Yeah.
And make them every weekend would be tough.
Yeah. Because like just day, being on like that schedule of
you could
opposite of everybody else.
Truck, like pop-ups.
Ooh, that would be nice.
When you don't get it all the time. It's a little more enticing.
See, like the local part of me wants it to be a hang too, where it's like if you're just hungover and you just want to come get a bacon, egg, and cheese on a bagel and get the hell out of there, like we got you. But I would also love to have like a coffee shop that had like, my envision is like a big horseshoe bar, like a bar, but a coffee bar where it's like, come hang out, like a workspace, even like if you want to have like a little meeting, like there's couches over there, and then also sell local stuff in there. I know it sounds like a lot, but if you do it right,
if PARTI opens a space, maybe you can put a coffee bar in there.
Might be a little something in the works there. Well, not actually in the works, but something to think about. About. I'm not inserting myself into your business
a few years ago, so it just takes a couple of years. Right?
Yeah. It's cool how many places
we would like to have like a little storefront too, where we can like sell local stuff.
Yeah.
Any like, I don't know. Besides
Knick-knacks,
I don't have anything off the top of my head, but it would be nice to have like somewhere you could stop and get gifts for people. Kind of like Lavish does that well, I think.
Yeah.
But something
their storefront's
smaller.
Awesome. Yeah. I had no idea it was even there until like probably 8 months ago. Yeah. Obviously, like if you like a guy, like for the most part guys, and if you're not getting your hair cut there, like I had no reason to ever go in. I guess
why would you go in there?
Yeah, and
good place to buy.
They have so much stuff.
If you're a guy that has to buy a gift for a lady, they've got some soft pajamas.
They do. They have a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, they've got nice stuff.
Yeah. What about so you guys? There's a whole bunch of our friends and you and Zach, half marathoners just out of nowhere. I feel like
I blame you and Krista. I signed up because it was 2 weeks after your wedding, and I was like, what better way to get in shape than forcibly have to stick to a running plan?
Yeah.
I mean, it worked. I felt like I was in good shape.
Yeah.
And I did it, but
it's impressive. I don't know how the hell you guys do it. I'm not a runner.
I actually really enjoyed it. I haven't really been running since, which I need to get back to it, but there was nothing like it. I ran a half marathon when I was in Syracuse.
Oh, did you?
My mom and I ran it. She used to run a lot, and it was a blizzard, so that part was not ideal.
That's brutal.
But I finished. My mom was a little bit behind me, and no one was there. So like no one saw me finish. It was kind of sad, and I was like, "That was."
You don't get that jolt at the end.
I also didn't work crazy hard. We were in the Final Four the day before.
Oh, really?
Like, I definitely did not train the way I should have, which it was fine. I at least finished it. But this time I really stuck to training, but running it in your hometown, there's nothing like it. Like running, I was so emotional. I can't even describe the way it was. It was just really cool. People lined up all over the streets, and we had like family and friends, like my mom and brother-in-law and my sister's kids. they jumped to like 4 different locations with signs
really?
for us.
That's nice.
It was really cool.
You do get such a jolt from that too, because like
God,
even if like you just go for a run like on the trail or something here, and if you see somebody you know, like it just takes your mind off the misery for just long enough to like.
And I'm not fast, but my half marathon pace like on race day was 1 full minute faster per mile than my training was.
Really?
Because I was just like so
that's crazy.
excited.
That's like a big, it's not like 20 seconds.
No, it was like almost
crazy.
A full minute.
Damn.
And I just felt great. Like it was just so cool. And every time I saw someone I knew, it gave me like a little bit more of a push to keep going. But besides like mile 10 to 12, like truly it was the best experience.
That's awesome.
10 to 12, I was like, it's on the trail. No one's really out there. And I was feeling it. Yeah, for sure. But then you come off the trail.
What do you feel
and
first?
People
like
are just lined up.
Is it like knees, feet, calves? Like what? Or everything like probably.
You're just like tired mostly. My body doesn't have like one specific thing. My knees probably, if I had to pick a body part that hurt the most, was probably my knees. But I feel like at mile like 10 and a half, my feet started to hurt. Really? And I don't know why. I guess I wasn't really running. I think I only trained until 10 miles. How many weeks of training? Like, so you were on like a legit, like regimented program, right? Yeah. So I just followed the Nike running app, but it was 5 runs a week. I started January 1st, up until the race was April 8th, April 7th, like 4 months, April 7th, give or take. Yeah. And besides in Mexico for your wedding, I did 2 short runs. So I missed like a run or 2 that week. And then I think the week before the half, I missed like 1 or 2, but otherwise I really stuck to the 5 a week. It was really time consuming once you get past like 4 or 5 miles. Yeah. Like you're out there. I'm not that fast. So I'm out there running for quite a bit. Right. But yeah, that's a lot of time to it's commit. Very rewarding. The race kind of makes you forget that you trained so hard and it was grueling. But it's impressive though. I feel like I wasn't even aware, cause like you guys like talked about it, I feel like a little bit like as a group amongst our friends, but like I didn't even know everybody that was doing it. Well, I feel like we had a little bit of a late edition or 2. Yeah. I was like so impressed. I'm like, Jesus, you guys Zach just had been running this the whole time. Like pretty much in January when I started, he started running too. Oh yeah. Just knowing we were going to Cancun in a few months, we were both just trying to get a little bit healthier. But he was like going up till 4 miles till one point he was like, I'm just going to go a little further. He went to 6, then he did 8, then he did 10, and he was like, I'm going to sign up. And he crushed it. He beat me by a pretty good amount of time for not training as many long runs. Yeah. That's insane to me. Like, I don't know how people do that. Like, I feel like not anybody could, but like a lot of people could, and then there's just people who could just like dial it up so fast, and like that's so impressive. Tyler Zippe, he was training too, but he crushed it. He set his mind to it. He finished before all of us. Yeah, Zip's headstrong when it comes to that. Like he's I give him credit. Like whenever he sets his mind to like certain things, like he goes for it. Even it is funny. So like I don't know why, but like I feel like talking about how we play basketball on Monday, like it comes up a lot, like in the 10 podcasts we've done now. But like you get a real feel for like people's like work ethic and like resiliency, because like we all get tired, but like all of our friends, like the guys, obviously I'm only speaking to now, you don't always get a feel for like how like tough you could be in certain situations. Sure. Not that playing basketball is tough, but like when you're tired, it's like gritting through some of that stuff. It's high energy though. Yeah. And like we're not 16 anymore, so it's definitely harder. Yeah. You get like a different level of respect for people. Like Zach comes home with a different color shirt on every time. Oh, because he sweats so much. Drenched. I always tell him put it straight in the washer. I was like, I'll just wash it right now. I feel so disgusting when I leave there. I'm like, I don't want to go anywhere. It's because like, I don't know how, but like just saturated every single time. Yeah. Well, it's probably hot in there. Yeah. In the summer it gets hot and it's sometimes cold in the winter, but yeah, it's fun. It's nice, get a nice hang with everybody. Yeah. We need the girls to find some sort of sport hobby. Yeah. You guys need a little something. But talking about, we were talking about Mexico for our wedding, but I want to talk about, I never got like the full rundown on yours and Zach's honeymoon. Like I talked about it quick with him every once in a while and a little bit with you, but like I need the full deets. Like first of all, where'd you go? Like what was your favorite? So we went to Croatia. We did Split, Hvar, and then Dubrovnik.
Mm-hmm.
It was amazing, start to finish. Every
You looked at
meal, every site we saw was incredible. We went through a travel agent, Hillary, from In the Know Experiences, and she booked every restaurant. We had a couple calls with her, told her what we were interested in, gave her our budget, all that kind of thing, and she killed it. Like, she booked every
awesome.
dinner reservation, every lunch reservation that we went on. She left a few days that we could kind of explore on our own, but we got like just enough history, just enough. We were mostly interested in the food, if we're being honest.
Mm-hmm.
Zach's such a foodie, so. But he made me try things that I never thought I would eat, and I really did enjoy everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
We hit a Michelin star restaurant, which was really exciting at the end.
Nice.
I
What'd you
tried
have
some
there?
pigeon.
Really?
Oh, we did like the chef's tasting, so I had a million different things.
It's just like super small.
We have it all written
tastings.
down. Like, one day we took pictures of it all. Zach was like, I would love to make like a little food journal of what we ate.
Yeah, you should.
So we would like to do that, and he has all the information, but I couldn't even tell you half of the things I ate.
Yeah.
I know I was hooked on cuttlefish risotto.
Really?
It was like a squid ink risotto with little pieces of cuttlefish, and it was so good. If they had it on the menu, I got it. I think I ate it 6 times.
Really? All this food talk's getting me hungry.
I know.
I didn't eat dinner yet.
Late dinner.
Yeah, I know. Running late. I'm actually, whatever. But
I had late lunch to prepare myself.
I did too,
So
kinda.
my stomach wouldn't be growling on camera.
I got to flash a few pictures from your guys' honeymoon up there, because
it was incredible.
it was really nice looking. And
if anyone's looking to go to Europe and doesn't want to hit, we just didn't want to hit Italy or Greece. We just wanted to go somewhere a little bit different.
Yeah.
It's not that different, honestly, but somewhere that we hadn't heard of anyone we knew
for
that
sure.
really went there. And we landed on that, and everyone was so nice, and it was, I feel, pretty affordable for a European vacation.
Yeah. It's so eye-opening how they live over there versus like the way we live. Like,
so different.
You hear about it, and then like when you experience it firsthand, it's just like, how did we end up with like this? It's just like all day hustle.
So
like,
different.
over there,
And
they're just like so more
they
chill.
run on tourism. So when tourism stops for those couple months, they all just kind of like take a break.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure some of them do things, but really most of the, we did a lot of private tours, which was cool. So we had just like somebody that lives there walking around with us and telling us things. So we picked their brain a lot, and it seemed like they all just kind of, in the off season, they travel, and some of them had houses in different countries that they go to. It seems like a nice life.
Yeah. We fucked up somewhere, but
yeah. Sometimes I'm like, why did my family have to settle here? I do like it here, but I'm like, when I go places like that, I'm like, why didn't we end up here?
Yeah, you realize how good it could be elsewhere.
Yeah.
I know. It's it's unfortunate sometimes the way things are. Like, life, don't get me wrong, like, life is so good. It's cool that we have every opportunity, but like, we are just brainwashed in that regard, where it's just like, it's understood you work 40 hours plus a week at your salary job, and then
until you're 70.
Go do your side hustle on top of it. Yeah. We're like over there. I was actually listening to something recently. They were talking about circling to like European artists, but like Michelangelo, Da Vinci, like all these like great minds of their times. But they highlighted them as an example. But they were saying like everybody kind of worked like that once you got past like certain jobs, where it would be like very concentrated, focused, like grit your teeth and buckle down for like 2 months of like super intense work, followed by like 2 months of like less or nothing. And like that could be like a more profound way of being efficient versus just sitting at a desk for 40 hours a week.
Definitely.
And like filling space or having like an like excess amount of Zoom meetings just because you're checking boxes. Where it's like, if you just like had some time to take a step back and really reevaluate what you're doing, and if there's better ways of doing it rather than going through the motions of this is how we do things year over year. It's just like different ways of working, but it's hard to like ever since like I guess the Industrial Revolution, like we're just programmed to be like.
I feel like we as like small business owners kind of get that, where like I'm sure when it's like roundup season, you're working a whole lot more than middle of winter. You know what I mean? I'm sure it's like that. I know for us, it's crazier in the summer because that's when people are having showers and weddings and are hiring us. So it's kind of like we know that on the side, outside of our 9 to 5, how you could like work really hard and then you get a little bit of a kind of reprieve. But
yeah, especially with like the jobs. So like when it was factory jobs or you were doing like these blue collar jobs, like the work is laid out before you. You just have to get it accomplished. Now, like so much of the workforce are like, what do they call it? We're knowledge workers now. We're not laborers. That's the word I was looking for. We're knowledge workers. But like in a lot of jobs, like you don't have the time to step back anymore. And like those, like you're saying, like with the side businesses, like those ups and downs are truly like when you come up with some of your creative ideas to launch the business forward in different ways. Where like if we took that approach in some of our 9 to 5s, like maybe some of these businesses could be excelling at a different level rather than just like like even corporations like growing at 3%, 5% a year. It's like just to make like shareholders happy. It's like maybe if you gave people bigger breaks, like you'd come back. Like they think like you get a week off for like Christmas shutdown and like we're recharged now. Let's start up 2025. Like we're good to go. It's like, I don't know. Like you look at history, like that's not how people always worked. And those were the best creative minds that the world has ever seen. Like we should probably acknowledge the way they operated, but I don't know.
I feel like COVID kind of helped in that regard a little bit with remote work. Like before that, I was never able to work remote. Now I can just sign in. I mean, it's a blessing and a curse to be able to access work at any moment, but there's something to be said about being able to sign in late. If sometimes I need to work a little overtime, I'll take it home and eat dinner and then go back on. It's nice to be able to like take a little bit of a break.
Yeah, just like a mini recharge.
Not stuck at your desk the whole time.
Yeah. Even managers, like I wanted to bring this up too, where like you're talking with like people you're working with now, and like managers are even open to the idea of having like your side hustle, and like you could chat with them about it, or like they like respect it almost to an extent rather than like view it. Like we are lucky in that regard. Like we're living it because like like in the 80s, like if you told your boss like you had a side business, you would like probably get fired.
Yeah.
And like now it's like to your point, like COVID has just like given so many people a different appreciation for like work-life balance, and like people respect like the other things that people have going on in their lives more so. So like I don't want to sound like I'm complaining. I'm just like, could we take a different approach on things? And obviously like, again, this podcast that reaches however many people is not going to fix anything, but it's cool to see at least some steps being taken gradually. Like unfortunately, like the 4-day work week probably won't happen until we're 50.
Zach has it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
A couple of our friends have it actually. Like, we do 4.5 at BDA, which is nice.
Yeah,
we do nice. 4 9s, and then we cut out at 1 on Fridays.
That's nice.
Used to be like a Memorial Day to Labor Day kind of gig, and
that's how
people
we are.
Loved it, so they were like, let's just do it all year.
Yeah, we get like summer hours or whatever. It's like if you have all your stuff done Friday at noon, like you're good, whatever. I know, and I hate to complain because like so many people have had it worse and have shittier jobs than what we have now. I'm just like, could it be optimized? I'm not complaining. I'm just, I always take that point of view, but I don't know. It's interesting.
We definitely can learn something from Europeans.
Yeah.
On the
we
work
need to,
day.
We need to take a look back. Like our ancestors and great grandparents and grandparents had to leave because crazy shit went down. But like, if you rewind past 150 years, I don't know. They've been doing it for a long time, and their level of happiness seems to be pretty high over there.
They just like there's no such thing as a weekend over there. Like there is obviously, but I feel like they just like after work they go out. Where they're like doing things.
Yeah, and it's just like
I've been trying to adapt that in my adult life.
Yeah, it is like a mindset shift. You don't have to
treat weekends like weekends. And it's when you go out for dinner with some friends on a weeknight. Don't you feel like it's like a Friday?
Yeah.
It's the best.
It is the best.
And you still have to go to work the next day, but it makes that day like so much better.
Yeah.
Like we really need to do
like
that
you
more.
Don't have to get like drunk, like whatever, like no drinks at all even, or a glass of wine, whatever. It's just like, I say that a lot too, because it is just like you get tired, like by the time you come home, like if you want to get a workout in and cook dinner or whatever, it's just like, damn, it's already 8:00 and it's like, shit, just sit down for an hour. And it's
Yep.
dang.
It's easier now when it's laid out so long.
Yeah.
But in those cold months when you leave work and it's pitch black, I'm like, I want to go home and put my pajamas on. My brain's confused.
I know. Those winter months are wearing on me more and more.
I will admit, though, usually after like a busy spring, summer, fall of side hustling, when winter comes, I'm like, I'm ready to hibernate.
Yeah. I hear you.
Nobody bug me.
Yeah.
I'm catching up on TV and yeah.
You got to Michelangelo it. You got to have your months of hibernation a little bit.
My hibernation months usually like December, January, and then I'm like gearing back up in February.
Yeah,
but
we'll see. We'll figure it out eventually.
Yeah.
The two of us.
We'll try.
We'll change things for sure.
If I'm ever the boss for real all day long, we'll make it work.
Yeah. People will be begging to work for you.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah. All right. Well, as a closing tradition, and I forget sometimes, but as a closing tradition on this podcast, I would like the guests to share their like favorite local spot that they have right now. It doesn't have to be a restaurant. It could be a boutique, whatever. Just whatever place maybe you've been to recently or want to shout out. What are you digging? I would
say my favorite at the moment would probably be Old and Brew.
Ooh, Old and Brew's a good spot.
She always hooks me up with my iced latte.
I like it there.
She knows what I want when I'm coming. And it's fun to look around. I love to thrift, so it's always fun to look around in there.
Yeah, they have tons of vintage stuff in there.
Yeah, but definitely for the coffee.
Yeah, so Old and Brew in Peckville. Little coffee shop with a little vintage thrifting going on as well. Shout out Old and Brew.
Shout out Old and Brew.
I dig it. Cool. Well, thanks, Tara. That was fun.
Yeah,
I'm glad we connected.
We finally did it.
First female guest.
No big deal.
And episode 10. So we're just checking all the boxes tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And
anyone needs event design, hit us up.
Oh, yeah. Plug the socials.
At PARTI with us on Instagram.
Check it out. And the website was what?
PARTIwithus.com.
So same thing,
and
just .com.
If you want to buy your mom a Mother's Day bouquet.
Yay.
We've got a bouquet sale. Pick up the day before Mother's Day at Freed Love in Scranton.
Nice. Check it out. All right, cool. Thanks, Tara.
Thanks.
Good stuff.
That was fun.